Hi class, welcome to your interpersonal communication course, COM203. I'm Lisa Hill and I will be your instructor for the semester. I look forward to working with you and having you as a student in this class. And I hope you do too, because I always say this is one of the best classes on campus, virtual campus or live campus, interpersonal communication, skills you could put to use immediately as you are working in the class. As we know, the importance of effective communication, especially with another person, whether that's someone that you live with, whether it's a coworker, whether it's a friend, whoever it is. We're going to look at all aspects of interpersonal communication, our sense of self, perception, listening. How do we get together in a relationship, whether it's just a friendship or an intimate relationship? How do we escalate to a bonding relationship or even de-escalate to perhaps a breakup? So that's all in this class. And what's so exciting about this virtual course is that we're using a digital text that has Rebel. And Rebel is a component, or it's your digital text that has all kinds of bells and whistles, all kinds of videos embedded, all kinds of information that you can click on that provides interactive learning. And I want to be sure you understand how to use your digital text, because that is the meat of this class, is perusing each chapter of your text. So that's why I want to take about 15 minutes and make sure that you start off on a good foot with this orientation video. So, perhaps you have taken online classes before, or maybe you're new at virtual learning. Whatever it may be, I do want to go over some of the basics of the course, and I want to be sure that I show you how to use your Rebel digital text, how to get into it, how to take a quiz, because you're going to have a quiz for each learning module along with other assessments, and you'll also have a module quiz or quizzes. So I do want to be sure to show you that. Okay, so let's get started. As you know, this is your home page, and just a couple quick things. If you ever want to get back to this home page, you can click this link here. This brings you back to all your D2L classes. This is what we call the nav bar. As you may know, it's a shortcut to certain areas of the class. And actually, let me go into student view here real quick. There we go. Okay, so nav bar looks basically the same. Some important components that I just want to highlight: your grades, email if you need to email me or email others in the class. It's a shortcut to different areas. Please click on this during this first week of classes. Get to know what's involved in each of these areas. A lot of times I tell students, discussions is a good area to look at because you need to reply to students. So perhaps you will post your discussion, and then 2 days later you go back to reply and read your classmates' discussions to post, so you can quickly get there rather than going through the course itself. Either way is fine, but it's a shortcut. This is the meat of your class. As you see, we have learning modules each week. Sunday at midnight is your deadline. Sunday at midnight is your deadline. I don't accept late work unless it's an extreme emergency and you have contacted me regarding this emergency. This is all in your syllabus. However, I do generally do not accept late work. So just keep that in mind. If you're a procrastinator, hey, you know what? Your work is due Saturday by midnight, so that gives you an extra day as far as getting your work done. Your news section, and this is probably where you're going to see this video, and just some information from me. Hey, this is my email. Email me any questions you have. I try to get back to you as soon as possible. So please keep that line of communication open with me, because I want to see you succeed in this class. Technical assistance. So just so you know, this class has two components. We have our D2L, which is what you're in, and then you have Rebel, okay, which is your Pearson textbook. So if you need help with D2L, I have the help desk information. However, if you need help in Rebel, I have some FAQ questions, and then we also do have a support area here. So this is all here for you regarding information for this class, okay? Otherwise, there's two ways you can get into the meat of the course. I like to tell students, this is my favorite. I hit the content browser here, and what this does is give you a good overview of the class. You see the learning modules, you see the dates. Again, these are Sunday by midnight. And then on the right, you will see, in a sense, what the learning module is comprised of. So this first week is just to get you acclimated to the course. This first week is for you to go through the class, go through Revel. I want you to thoroughly read your syllabus. I want you to make a copy of it, because sometimes it's nice just to have it as a reference. I do that. I've been teaching for 20 years, and I just reference the paper copy, rather than going online. It makes it nice for whatever you're doing, and especially in a course. So this first module is pretty much to get you started, to get you set up. So just a couple things in this first module, which is your resource module, and then I want to show you a typical instructional module, which will be all the rest of your modules. But all modules are broken down in first the objectives, and you will see clearly what you're going to be covering in that learning module, and then what assignments you have, the assessments. Basically, the way virtual learning works is that you learn, you read, you interact, you watch these videos. Okay, so that's the reading and the instruction. And then we need to assess you to be sure that you understand, that you comprehend this information. So you will always see some type of assessment, which is graded assignments, discussion posts, and quizzes. Okay, so you have your reading and instruction, and then your assessment, your quizzes, your assignments. I have this here. You may not always have a discussion post. You will always have a quiz. I may have a journal in there. I may have something else as far as an assessment, but you do know this is your assessment area. And do know at the very end, I always have a checklist so that you can go through the checklist to be sure that you covered everything for that learning module. So module objectives, reading, instructions, assessments, your assignments, and then your checklist to be sure that you are cool and you are good to go. Now, as far as getting into Revel, you went to the bookstore, you bought your access code. You're going to see here, well, first you want to click on how to be successful in this course, but this is your login. Okay, so you need to get your access code into Revel. And you're going to click here, you're going to follow these instructions, and then you're going to click down here to get into Revel and put in your access code. So that gives you access to your digital text for this semester. I mentioned in the syllabus that if you would like to buy a good old-fashioned hard copy of the text, it is available, but the publisher does sell it for another $19.99. So that information will be in Revel, that if you would like to also have a paper copy of the text. What you could also do is look for a paper copy online if you like. I shouldn't be saying this, but that might be an option if you like a good old-fashioned text. Okay, so this is going to show you how to get into Revel, the digital text of the course. Okay, and that's in your first learning module. After you're in Revel, you're going to see, as far as the course is concerned, a link to get into Revel. We can't link, like for instance, for assessments, for quizzes, it's not a quick click to get you into Revel. You'll always have to go into Revel to take your quiz. Okay, does that make sense? You always have to go into Revel to take your quiz. And then I take those quiz grades and I put them in D2L, which is your grade book. So it's not a quick click. Like in other words, you're going to see in the next module your Revel link. And I'll explain that for in a minute here. So, well, and actually, let's look at it right now. So here's your Revel link. After you have logged in, you're going to always see this digital textbook link in each of your modules, and that's going to take you to Revel. Okay, now it may not look exactly like this, because I have the instructor, but it's going to bring you right into Revel, and this is the instructor view, and what you're going to see is this type of view. Okay. So you're going to see that it's broken down the same way as your learning modules in the course. This is for next week. Okay, this is your first learning module in itself. And here you would click Chapter 1 is what you need to cover in that particular learning module. So a couple things about this. This is not a textbook where you just kind of peruse through it. This is an interactive text. You have videos to click on. You have information to highlight. This will be your quiz questions. This will be things that are highlighted in either the assessment area or in your quiz. So it's very important that when you're going through the chapter that you click on all these different areas. So let's just look at this particular chapter. You click on here. Here's your Chapter 1. And you can peruse down. It tells you your learning objectives. You see here's your first video. You click on your first video. You watch that.
I've never used a dating.
Okay, so you want to do that throughout each chapter. And I do want to mention in Revel, you can have it as an audio, and you could also have an app of Revel on your phone. And you'll see that when you get into Revel. They're going to give you the instructions on how to do that. I do highly recommend that you use your app on your phone, because you know you might be somewhere waiting somewhere, and you can go through the chapter and read the chapter and understand different concepts. Okay, so that shows you a typical chapter of what you would be covering in the class. Let me go back to the course. I'm going to get out of Pearson, out of Revel at this point, and we're going to go back to the class here. That was the learning module, and that was getting into Revel. I do want to show you how to take a quiz, because like I said, every module has a quiz other than this first module, which is just your resources. You're going to see you have your self-introduction posting, professional email correspondence, and a personality test that gets you started so you know who you are, and then that helps you as far as communicating with others and being other-oriented in your communication. So that's learning module 1. Looking at a typical learning module, let's look at learning 2, and you'll see again objectives. We have our chapter, and then we have our as far as our assessments. In this one you have a discussion post, a quiz, and a journal entry. And you can see what everything's worth on your syllabus, and you can see it online here. So as far as taking your quiz is concerned, okay, this is a chapter quiz. Okay, let me repeat that. Chapter quiz is worth 30 points. This is at the end of the chapter, and you take the quiz. You have 2 attempts. 2 attempts. So the first, if you don't get it right, each is worth 2 points. You don't get it right, it goes down to 1 point. You don't get it right again, it's 0 points. Okay, so again, for the chapter quizzes and all quizzes in Revel, I give you 2 attempts, and it goes down 50%. So when you want to take a quiz in Revel, you're going to see it here in assessments, but it's not necessarily here in this area. It's just telling you you have to take a quiz in chapter 1. And what I do is give you the link here, Pearson Revel link. You click in there, and then you go back to that particular chapter, and in that particular chapter, again, let's look at this, because I want to show you a chapter quiz, and then I also want to show you a module quizzes. Module quizzes are worth more. Okay, so in this particular chapter, I believe, well, no, I guess it is this one. In this one, you're going to see here at the end, as far as what your quiz is, you'll click on that, and then you start. Okay, and you see that it's worth 30, and it gives you all the information that's needed. Okay, so when you're done, it'll tell you what you accomplished with that particular quiz, and then you see what your grade is immediately. That's at the end of the chapter after you have completed all the information in that chapter. Now, if you're in here and you want to go back to something else, you could go back here and go to assignments. Do you see how I do that here? And I go back to assignments, and I want to show you a module quizzes. So if you're not paying attention, pay attention now. This is, you're going to see this in your course module quizzes. what I have is quizzes after different sections in the chapter. Again, module quizzes worth more after different sections in the chapter. So I believe I have that in this chapter. Yes, I do. Okay, so in this particular chapter, you'll go through your information. So you see here's your first part. You're going to go through reading and quiz. You're going to know that there's a module quizzes. You go through the readings, click on all the areas that are within that particular reading area. And what I suggest to do is to go through each section, read each section, maybe jot some things down, okay? And then take the quiz at the end. Okay, so you go all the way down here to the bottom. And guys, look at this. There's an arrow. Sometimes students say, where's that quiz? It's this arrow that's going to take you to that first module quiz in that section. You see that you can get 10 points, and you see that you could start it right there. And then you can go back and finish the chapter. A couple ways you can do it. You can go through the whole chapter and then go back and take your module quizzes, or you can do it in sequence. It's up to you. So that's a module quiz. That's what we are looking at as far as the quizzes. A module quiz, let's go back to the class, module quizzes or a regular quiz in Revel. So Revel is your mainstay, your digital text. You can go through your syllabus, or actually go through this class, because your syllabus, I gave you just scratch the surface as far as the chapters that are covered, but you can go through the class to see which chapters cover module quizzes, which ones have just your chapter quizzes. But you will always have some type of discussion posts and then some type of journal. So let me say a couple things about that. Okay, so you're a communicator and you're communicating via your discussion posts, via writing, electronically writing. And you want to be professional. You want to have it grammatically correct. You want to write it and then read it again and fix it, okay, if you need to fix it. Especially for your journals, your journal entries, I want to see a paper as if you're writing a paper. They're usually 2 to 3 pages. And when I say that, I want that organization, the structure. That just helps you when you have to write a more lengthier paper. So you want to have some type of introduction that, kind of introduces the concepts you're going to talk about or write about, your body, and then a concluding paragraph. That way you can get 100% on these journals. And again, watch your grammar, watch your sentence structure. Another thing, and I tell students, there's free software available for you. It's called Grammarly.com, Grammarly.com, and you can download that on your computer, and you could have your paper or whatever you write go through this and pick up any kind of grammatical errors or any kind of written errors. Free. Of course, you could upgrade and get a more complex version, but that free version is awesome for college students. So just a couple things about your written work. You'll see this in your syllabus as well. Okay, so very clear-cut course as far as the modules. You're going to see you have a chapter per module. You're going to see that you have a quiz per module along with other information. I have some other TED Talks in the modules as well as an added bonus, if you want to call it that. I might have some extra credit throughout the semester. I don't know yet, so don't hold me on that. But some video quizzes I like to throw in as extra credit, and that might be a possibility. And that is about it. Let's go back to the class. I don't think I have anything else to show you in this particular course. As I mentioned, I'm an email away. If you have any questions, please email me. I've been teaching for a long time. You could see the wrinkles on my face. And I enjoy working with students, and I want to see you succeed. Now, you know what? You don't do the work and you don't do it correctly, and it's not on time. Definitely you're not going to succeed in this course. I guess what I'm saying is I maintain the integrity of the class. However, I am with you. I am going to work with you to help you progress and learn. Have a great day, afternoon, evening, night, or whenever you are listening to this. I wish you the best in the class. If you have any additional questions, shoot me an email. Take care.